Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive.
Game over!
Take it light. Okay.
Now you're more fluent.
He's got three!
Up, Bears.
So this is really good right here. Absolutely. Let's do it.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Leafs Unfiltered. Happy to be back with you here and with Caroline as always. How are we doing, Caroline?
Good, thank you. Just taking a moment from my Olympic haze to think Leafs. So this is nice, refreshing change for me this week.
Yeah, a little bit of an Olympic break for at least an hour, right?
That's right.
Before you get back into the cave and try to catch up on everything you might have missed today.
That's right. There was a lot that I missed today. It's been a hard Olympics to follow.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot going on. So far, I think from a Canadian perspective, performance has been pretty good. I don't know if it's been, you can consider it an overachievement so far, but I like where things are at. 2 goals already is not too shabby.
That's a great question, Josh. Why don't we look to see, I think they got 20 medals in 2020 in Tokyo.
In or around there. Sounds about right. And I know they had 7 goals. I know that because I placed a bet on their goals to be over 5.5. So I definitely have a very vested interest. Oh, you did? You took my advice.
That same bet as you. Yeah.
Okay. I think we're looking okay so far.
Okay, so we got 24 medals in Tokyo. So per capita that. So what's 24 divided by 14? That is
I was told there'd be no math. I was told no math.
It's just calculator iPhone math. So I hope that's
okay. Fair.
So we're pacing. So we paced 1.71 medals in 2020. Okay. Now we have 7 medals divided by how many days? Today was 5th day.
Sounds right. I think so. Yeah.
So we're pacing 1.4 medals per day.
Okay.
So what did I say we were pacing at? So we're actually pacing behind. So
behind.
1.4.
Yeah, it was like 1.7 was the prior pace for Tokyo.
7.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, we can look at the weighting. 7 gold medals.
Yeah, I was going to say, more importantly, how are the golds pacing? That's what we really care about.
We've got 2 goals. So if we're looking at, so what is 5 days of 14 days? So we have covered 0.36% of the Olympics so far.
I think we'd be like just on track, pretty much.
I don't. Okay, 0.36. This is not my specialty, but if we're trying to extrapolate 3.
Yeah, we're trying to make this an exact science so we know if I should cash out or not.
That's true. I did not put a lot of money on that wager, so.
No, same. I don't actually think they have a cash out option anyway, so I'm in no matter what. Yeah.
Well, I guess what we're comparing is 2 gold medals at this point at 1.35 or whatever to 7 gold medals totally. It is pretty close.
Yeah.
You're right. But we might be pacing ahead in gold medals there. So
yeah, but we only need to get the over 5.5. So I don't need them to get 7, although that would be nice for
anything
the
above
country.
That is just slow.
Yeah. Anything beyond the 6 is gravy in my mind.
That's funny.
Well, and I think we have the Summer McIntosh final tomorrow.
Yeah.
She is a heavy favorite.
What is it? What's the event?
200 meter, is it breaststroke or backstroke? I can't remember, but it's definitely 200 meter final at 2:30 tomorrow.
Could it be the butterfly? I don't really know how they decide who competes in what events in swimming.
Yeah, see, now you have me wondering. I knew it had to be in it. That's about it.
Because she definitely won. Well,
butterfly.
I thought you won the 400 meter butterfly and the 400 meter freestyle.
She won the IM, like the freestyle IM. the 400 meter.
Yes.
That's what she got the gold in. And this is
Got
probably the butterfly. I think you're correct there, Caroline. Well done.
It's actually saying 400 meter freestyle. She got the silver in.
Oh, that was her silver, right? Yeah, she has a silver and then the gold in the IM, the 400 IM. Yeah.
So the IM
that's not bad for 5 days of work.
Oh, I
she's
think
doing
she's
it right.
The hardest working Olympian. Whenever I'm watching, she's always swimming.
Yeah.
She's swimming. Final.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
so we get a gold there, and then there's a couple other events where I think we've got a favorite. We know men's basketball, probably obviously not a favorite to win gold over the Americans, but never know how that could work out. Women's soccer now we're back in. So, I think we got enough horses in the race.
how does Canada typically do in men's basketball?
Usually terrible because we usually don't get all our NBA guys or most of our quality NBA guys there. So this is clearly by far the best team we've put into an Olympic event. I think it's even been, I want to say at least 2 or 3 Summer Olympics since we've even qualified. I think we didn't qualify the last time around because everyone from Andrew Wiggins and if you follow it didn't compete or wasn't on the team. So we haven't really put a great team out there in the past. Whereas now they've kind of done some things, I guess, in terms of the organization, Basketball Canada, to entice players to actually show up and play for their country. So now we have a really good team. Yeah.
I'm surprised that
they got Shea, SGA, Jamal Murray's in there, RJ Barrett. So it's a pretty solid team.
I'm just surprised that the players weren't interested in competing before Basketball Canada sort of put the smack down.
Yeah, I think it was probably more of even if I go, we're not going to qualify. So I'm wasting my time risking injury. Okay. But I guess enough guys kind of banded together and said, hey, if you do this, I'll do it. Let's all kind of convince all our guys to show up and show out. So, So now I think their program's healthier.
Okay, well, that's cool. So, we've got a couple people to keep an eye on as the Olympics kind of continue. It's
definitely.
We were talking before this, Josh and I, about how it has been so difficult to keep up with the Olympics. Like every day there's I can't put a finger on the number of events, but let's call it conservatively 30.
Oh, it's absurd.
Yeah, so I've been trying to watch it by watching the CBC broadcast and just sort of watching CBC morning Olympic coverage.
Yeah.
And then rolling into but even doing that, I'm constantly missing medals or constantly missing exciting breaking news. Like, I'll be watching, qualifying round judo, and it'll flash across the screen. Summer McIntosh wins 400 meter IM gold. It's like, CBC.
Why am I watching a qualification event right now?
Exactly.
Well, it's tough with the Canadian coverage because you basically got TSN, Sportsnet, and CBC.
A lot of chefs
all kind of showing different events, but I guess I know Josh,
honestly, they're simulcast. For the most part, they are completely simulcast.
Oh, okay.
Sportsnet and TSN, it's wild. They'll even not always simulcast, but okay, I do work full time, but I am watching as well. I have noticed that they will send to TSN. So say there is a tennis program happening on Sportsnet. They'll say the match is continuing on TSN. We're going to cut out to foil fencing. But I've never heard those kind of handoffs before from Sportsnet TSN.
Yeah, because that was how I knew to tune in for the Summer McIntosh, the one that she won the gold, the IM, because I think I was on TSN and they said over on CBC at 2:30 live broadcast of Summer McIntosh's swim. So, but I guess if you go on the website, whether it's on TSN or CBC, you should see exactly what event they're covering. And I think on ESPN is pretty good for this. If you look at their schedule, they show you what events where there will be a medal awarded. So I kind of just look at that and just say, okay, I don't need to watch any of these because it's only a qualification round. I'll kind of check back in at 2:30 where they're actually awarding a medal and Canada has someone who's in competition, you know?
Yeah.
So that's how I've kind of done it.
That's smart. I think the best solution to all of this is just create a red zone program for the Olympics.
I love that. I love that.
CBC spearheading Olympic red zone. Obviously, CBC and Sportsnet have the relationship where they can pull content. I don't totally understand that broadcast relationship.
Yeah.
But I imagine
it would be
if
cool.
CBC were to operate something like that, create that, produce that, and Sportsnet could cut into it and pull it, throw that red zone coverage on in the middle of, qualifying judo.
Yeah, because exactly. Like an event like that for sure. Like ping pong. I don't need to see an entire ping pong match, but if you told me we now go live to the final point of the match in the gold medal game, I'll watch it. Same thing with any other thing, any cycling event. Okay, we're in the last kilometer of the event or the last mile, then I'll probably tune in. Like, I don't need to watch the entire marathon, but if you tell me, oh, here come the runners to the end here, then sure, I'll tune in. So Olympic Red Zone would absolutely be amazing.
I think that part of the reason they've shied away from doing something like that is that they have like a journalistic integrity that they need to fulfill because they are Canada's public broadcaster. And so it is their mandate.
There's an obligation probably.
To show that qualifying judo round because, Krista's family, the gold medal winner of judo. 57 kilograms. She won.
Check you out, judo expert. You were dialed in.
I have become
dialed into judo
against my will. Honestly, I think.
I
think it's my least favorite Olympic sport.
Yeah, it really doesn't do anything for me. And the fencing, I'd loop that into. Like
honestly, fencing, I learned how it worked in a sort of an intro segment on CBC today. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff.
You got yourself some education on it.
There's 3 different fencing disciplines. There's foil, saber, and one other. And they have completely different rules and targets on the person's body. But just back to that CBC Red Zone and why CBC, they have to present the program to Canadians and make it available. So I think that's why they don't do it, because they know that if you're watching qualifying judo and Summer McIntosh is swimming for gold, you're going to switch it. So that's my stance. But I also
so it would work in theory, but maybe it's not actually a practical proposal.
Yeah, but I'm sure there are broadcasters doing it around the world. Like they know people don't want to watch qualifying judo.
For sure. And you got to give the audience what they want. But to your point, they probably have some obligation to, whether it's their own Olympic committees or whatever, to make sure they're showing the expanded version of an event, the full version, the full kind of qualification. Maybe that's part of how the Olympics issue out the rights. It's like, you got to show, like, obviously if you gave all the networks, okay, you can pick and choose. It's a buffet. You pick what events you want to show.
I don't
you
think
probably
they have
wouldn't
that
ever
option.
see judo. No,
I don't
of course
think,
not.
It's just
no
one
chance.
It's just one body that buys the Olympic rights. From what I understand, well, obviously we have Rogers and Bell that have it. I don't understand how.
Yeah, because it would make sense that you're
point.
buying the entire offering, right? Like you're not able to cherry pick events to show to your audience, because obviously that wouldn't be in the spirit of the Olympic broadcast.
Well,
they want all their athletes showcased.
Well, to be just like frank, like it is a capitalist market, and the only reason that I think Canada operates the way it does is because the CBC is so entrenched with the Olympics and their public broadcaster. But the NBC, unless the IOC is mandating that whoever buys the rights, you have to buy everybody. NBC doesn't have any. Yeah,
it would be different. I hear where you're coming from, but I do think it's probably an IOC thing in terms of what they have to show, because you see the same kind of on NBC, they're showing the fringe events, which I'm not sure that in their huddle with their entire broadcast team, they're like, okay, we got to get on this. Judo is at 9:30. We need to make sure we're showing that right at the beginning of the event. I'm sure they would say, oh, let's kind of do a thing on the men's USA basketball team. You know, they'd probably prefer to be showing some other stuff, but they probably have to show the full gauntlet, I would assume.
Yeah, I will look into that. I'm actually curious now because there's so many countries and not every country can follow that same formula.
Right.
Canada's following.
All right. Well, anyway, should we get on to hockey stuff? Hockey stuff, maybe?
For now.
Yeah, I think we're all drinking the Olympic Kool-Aid right now, but we do have some interesting hockey news. Couple Leaf-related tidbits to pass on and discuss. But I will kick it off to you. Where do you want to begin?
I guess with the Leafs breaking news, the most breaking news from the Leafs.
Big news. Yeah. Twitter is going crazy for this one.
Actually, I have no idea what you're going to say now.
Oh, we're not talking about the family reunion, the Nylander reunion? Yeah.
I just thought you were being a little sarcastic. But yes, that is what I'm.
Well, you know what? I apologize because I know you're not that big on Twitter. So you've actually been saved from seeing the timelines of people, just Leaf fans going crazy. Like, whoa, we got Alex Nylander. Like, guys, this is kind of a big deal. I know he signed a deal with the Marlies, but I think there's a possibility that Alex Nylander could be playing with William Nylander, and he might really be a diamond in the rough.
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic.
Well, I certainly don't feel the way, but this is actually what my timeline has looked like. That is legit. I certainly don't think that will happen because obviously Alex Nylander signing a deal with the Marlies and going through pretty much the entire month of July not being offered an NHL contract.
Exactly.
For me, that would suggest that the idea of him becoming a diamond in the rough, unlikely. Not impossible, but no one offered him a NHL contract. I'm not saying he doesn't have talent, but the idea that some Leaf fans have kind of created in their mind, fabricated the idea that we may have really found something here. Like maybe the other 31 teams don't realize what they're missing out on, but we're going to find a way, you know?
Okay, let's walk it back just to bring people into this discussion a little bit. Because he finished the season with the Columbus Blue Jackets. He got a hat trick. He got 11 goals in something like 25 games. Yeah. So he was a pretty hot commodity. A lot of people were speculating that the Blue Jackets would sign him to a deal and he would be a Blue Jacket. June 30th came and went, and he became a free agent. And to Josh's point, nobody touched him. Nobody's touched him. There's been a lot of activity in the trade market, free agent frenzy, and he's still out there. So it is a bit funny, a little weird. He was an 8th overall pick, so he's always been a pretty, there were a lot of hopes for him. He's a AHL All-Star. He did get that hat trick. He got 11 goals, 25 games last season, but it just seems like he hasn't quite found his NHL stride. Right. And maybe the Leafs are hoping that spark in Toronto, that spark when he's, connecting in a city with his brother. He's likely not going to play with his brother for a while.
No, definitely not at the beginning.
Yeah. So can you tell us, why do you think the Leafs signed him to a Marlies, to an AHL contract versus a Leafs NHL contract?
Yeah, for me, I guess there's a couple possibilities. So if they were to sign him to an NHL contract, obviously that takes up a spot on the roster, which they would have been able to do it right now. I think they were at 21 of 23 spots occupied, in terms of their actual cap, their payroll. So they could have fit him in. Only problem is if he was to not make the team out of training camp, he would then have to go on waivers, in order to send him down to the Marlies. That is one maybe consideration that had them choose an AHL contract. But I think more importantly, they're kind of like every other NHL team seemingly. They're not convinced he's an NHL talent, and they're not sure he would be ahead of anybody else. Like they've got 12 forwards signed right now after re-signing Dewar last week. Yeah. So they're probably, and that's not even including Easton Cowan and Minton, like we talked about on the previous show. So they're probably thinking, like, right now, I don't see a path for him to be one of our top 12 forwards. So no need to really sign him to an NHL contract, because even by him being on a AHL contract, the Leafs can still sign him to a PTO, a professional tryout contract. Yeah. So all they really want to do probably is give him a chance in training camp to compete, and they can still do that with him on an NHL contract. Putting him on an NHL contract?
On an AHL contract, he's able to do that. Come to training camp, try for a spot. I think right. NHL contract.
Yeah, sorry. If they would have signed him to an NHL contract, I think the worry would be the whole waiver issue if they did want to send him down.
I get that.
Yeah.
But when somebody's on an AHL contract, are they not appended to that team? Like, can't other teams bring him over to their professional team?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So he's still essentially an NHL free agent. So any NHL team could offer him a contract.
Yeah.
What I suspect they've done is they probably told Alex Nylander, like, look, if any NHL team that for didn't want to sign you up until July 30th, clearly, if they come to you with an offer, you obviously have every right to take it. But I'm sure they're giving him, I'm sure the AHL contract, knowing the resources of MLSE, is probably paying him more money than your typical AHL player would get, to kind of at least tell Alex Nylander, like, look, we're going to give you a chance.
Is there not like an AHL max contract?
I don't know if they have like a max individual contract. I don't know for certain, but I don't believe they do.
Can't be more than league minimum, though. Can't be more than 800,000.
No, but he might be able to still get more from the Maple Leafs than he typically would, like when he was in the Blue Jackets organization. If they would have signed him to if they would have signed him to an AHL contract, it may have been less than what he got with the Marlies. I suspect the Leafs probably were able to offer him more.
Like, in what way? Like money?
Just in terms of the actual contract. Like, I'm not sure. Let me just see if quickly I can find what he signed for, and then maybe I can make more sense of it.
There's no numbers attached to the contract at all.
There's not, eh?
No.
Yeah, so I think that would be one thing, and I guess they won't show it, to your point, but I think that's the one thing that might be what allowed them to convince Alex Nylander to not wait it out for an NHL contract, which I'm not sure he really cared to, because he probably figured, hey, if I don't have an NHL offer in my hands by July 30th, it probably isn't coming my way. So I think there was obviously a lot with the appeal of being in Toronto, being able to come to Maple Leafs training camp, probably his preference over any other team. So they probably assured him that, we will sign you to a PTO. We're just doing this right now, giving you the Marlies contract because we still want to keep our NHL roster options open, because maybe there's still some other things that they're kind of considering, right?
Yeah. Well, I
kind of feel for
the guy. I kind of feel for the guy. Like, Toronto market is obviously very familiar with the Nylander name. He's coming to town. He's kind of he's a big fish in a big market, but he's a small, so far that big fish hasn't really performed. So he's going to be really analyzed if he does come up to Leafs training camp and his first couple AHL games. There's going to be a huge microscope on him.
You think something will be analyzed in Toronto? Nah, come on.
But just like the fact that he is a Nylander, his dad's a Nylander.
Oh, for sure.
Nylander, like, the poor guy.
It's going to be a hot topic. So maybe he'll take it could take some pressure off of Marner.
Mitchie.
Perhaps
Okay, so-
everyone will want to talk to Alex Nylander more than Mitch.
Okay, before we pass through this topic, I just wanted to bring up something that I noticed while I was looking into the Alex Nylander signing. So Alex Nylander's full name is, there are 6 words in this name.
Whoa.
As there are 6 words in William Nylander's name. Here
really?
we go. It is Alexander Maximilian Michael Jr. Nylander Attilius.
Whoa.
Did you catch all that?
I caught the max a million, which obviously aligns very well to the Nylander tactics during contract negotiations. A little bit of foreshadowing there.
I know, Maximilian. So I see here his mom's last name is Altilius. You know, like Mark, whatever. I don't know how to say this properly. It's A-L-T. You can't say that. A-L-T-E-L-I-U-S. But so it seems like there's some naming conventions that they observe in Sweden/Calgary.
Okay. Those are some weird ones, though.
William's full name is William Andrew Michael Jr. Nylander Altilius. So there seems to be naming conventions.
Ego on dad? How about that ego on dad? He had to get his name in both of his kids' middle names?
Okay, just let me. So Michael Jr. Nylander Attilius. So obviously Michael Nylander is represented, but the mom's name is Camilla Altilius. So actually the mom is represented in the name as well.
Okay,
pretty well
wow.
Everyone in the Nylander extended family seems to be represented in the name.
Oh, yeah. If you got 6 names, you can spread the wealth a bit, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. That's wild.
Oh, that was funny. Yeah.
That was a good tidbit there. That's that's stuff you don't get with all the other podcasts and mainstream shows. That's nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Hadn't heard that.
Very Roman Empire to me.
Yeah, I have a feeling that probably not too many even teammates of William Nylander would be aware of that. I don't think that's something he really revealed to too many people. Hey, guys, I've got 6 names.
Hey, guys. I'm not going to, Hey guys, don't tell anyone, but I've got this super weird name.
Yeah. Yeah, probably leave that out of the locker room banter, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, anyway. I think just to maybe close the loop on Alex Nylander, because other than on Twitter, I don't think it's going to be getting too much attention until we get into training camp and we see whether he does get that PTO. I suspect he will, because it doesn't really hurt the team to give a PTO. I think you're probably limited or capped on how many PTOs you can hand out, but I would suspect the conversation with the Nylander camp was probably, hey, sign with the Marlies, we'll give you a PTO.
I looked into PTO today because PTO is confusing to me.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do cap number of PTOs because it's kind of in the league.
Is it unlimited, really?
Team's best interest. They're probably limited. I just didn't come across it.
I mean, I guess depending on who else you're bringing into training camp, I guess there's not a PTO cap, but you have only so many, I think, players you can invite to training camp, whether that's an NHL designated number or a team designated number. I'm sure the way they break it up in their kind of scrimmages, it's like, okay, we can't bring in any more than 53 players. You know, we only have 2 rinks that we can have our practices on. So we need 53, and that breaks down to however many PTOs. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm just reading here. It doesn't actually tell us a limit of how many PTOs you can bring on, but a professional tryout contract can be handed to any unsigned veteran player or free agent that's looking for a new home. They are limited to 25 games, which means most of these are signed during training camp for preseason matchups.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
I wonder what they pay for PTO. Like, such a random question, but
Well, I mean, I think
actually, I
PTO,
found it.
you're not. I don't think you're getting paid. It's a tryout. It's a camp tryout.
But it's a paid tryout.
Is it? Okay.
That's what. Yeah. So they
Because
usually
with
go
these
on the range.
PTOs, they always get signed before the season starts. So
They
like
don't have to
NHL,
They don't. It says they can play 25 games
on the PTO. Okay, I don't think I've seen too much of that happening. It seems like any PTO guy either gets a contract or gets released from his PTO. But that's interesting.
Well,
okay.
If you
So
can
you can
lock down
play
a
on your
guy
PTO.
on a PTO 25 game contract, that has got to be the biggest steal.
Yeah,
because the
do
PTO
it if you can.
salaries fall in the range of 500 to 1,000 per day of participation.
Oh, so you're not really being paid in terms of a relative NHL. Okay.
In no way whatsoever. I don't see how this actually benefits a lot of players. Seems like they're sort of doing a tryout, like.
Well, it's you're there to prove that you can make it, because like right now, if you haven't been signed, and we know there's a lot of UFAs out there, obviously you still have a desire to make an NHL team, so you're not going to turn down a invitation to come to their training camp and hopefully earn yourself a contract. Like that's what the Leafs did with I think Zach Aston Reese and then Noah Gregor last year were both on PTOs and then got signed to a contract.
Giordano, I think, was on a PTO. I think
Giordano with Toronto, no, because they did the trade with Seattle. So it was a trade with Seattle. So he was already signed to a contract, and then they signed him to a very team-friendly contract, but it wasn't a PTO. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if we're comparing the AHL's minimum salary for the year, $52,700, it's about the same as a 365 PTO. No, it's not. No, it's actually way lower. Sorry.
Yeah, I would think lower. Yeah, 52,000. Yeah, we were talking about
52,000. That's rough. You can't even live in Toronto.
No. Yeah, you need to get that NHL contract. That's what you need to do.
But I'm sure, as to your point, Alexander's contract is closer to that league minimum.
For sure. Like, I have to think that's the only way they were able to convince him to take the AHL contract now instead of maybe waiting it out for an NHL offer. But I mean, again, if you're still sitting there July 30th with no NHL offer, you're probably happy to take whatever you can get at this point, especially when it's in Toronto.
Yeah, and he kind of has his future in the ball of his hands now. Like, he's covered in terms of salary, even if it's minimal. But if he performs, he's going to be on center stage in the NHL. He's playing on the Leafs training camp, getting a lot of media coverage. If this guy, has a good hair day, we're going to hear about it. So,
for sure. For sure,
a lot of teams are going to hear about him and his progress. So maybe that factored into his decision to come to Toronto, is that he's going to have any performance that he has is going to be on display. Whereas, say he went to a market like Columbus. No, Columbus, bad example. Particularly bad example.
In a hypothetical scenario where he didn't actually already play for them, it's a great example. Let's
call it Anaheim. Anaheim goes to Anaheim, does pretty well. They might not get that same media roar.
Totally.
So anyway, let's hope for Alex Nylander. Seems like a pretty nice Nylander. The brothers seem close, very connected.
Yep.
Competitive.
Well, yeah, he's for sure going to have free rent. That's definitely one advantage of signing in Toronto.
No,
I have a feeling he might have a room available to him.
I can answer you this because my grandma.
You did some recon?
My grandma lives above William Nylander, right?
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's in a 2-bedroom. The layout is not that big. I don't think the brothers want to live together in that spot.
No?
It's not. It's huge. It's big, but I don't think on the floor that he's on in my grandma's condo building that they have 3-bedroom units. It's just 2-bedroom units.
Ah. Well, I don't think, as far as I know, I don't think William Nylander is currently attached. So I think he's I don't think he has a partner. So he probably would have, a desire to kind of room with his brother for a little bit. Or maybe Alex goes to live with dad.
Do they live in
Maybe
Toronto?
he goes to live with they definitely have a place here. I believe they do, or at some point they did. I don't know if they still do, but I mean, I would think after William Nylander signed an $11.5 million contract, I'm pretty sure everyone in the Nylander family could have a temporary residence. Yeah.
I think you're right. Good point.
Yeah.
Wow.
Although I guess 11.5 only goes so far in Toronto, but you can still find something for that.
But Willie with the 2 dogs, the maybe on and off again girlfriend, that's a lot of bodies. And anyway, I'll do some digging. I'll try to figure
if you don't mind,
the layout.
if you can try to find out exactly what the setup is in the William Nylander, maybe bachelor pad, maybe not. I think the audience would like to know.
Okay. I can do.
And just seeing a comment from John. Hello. Just kind of a reminder for anyone who is tuning in, feel free to drop us a comment, any thought or question you have on anything we're talking about. Or if you want to even come on live here and ask a question, that is definitely an option as well for you. Just drop us something in the comment box and we can send you a link and you can join us here whenever you want. We'd love to have you.
Yeah.
So we moving on from Alex Nylander. I think we kind of exhausted that topic.
Yeah. You mean Alex Maximilian Michael Jr. Nylander Aurelius?
It flows very well, eh? It flows really well.
Okay.
It's a great name. Great name.
Thank you.
So should we talk and move on in terms of maybe remaining free agents? Is there anyone that you've kind of looked at that the Maple Leafs could potentially sign or maybe offer a PTO? Any names that pique your curiosity?
How did you know I looked into this? Like we planned
No way.
Yeah. So there are a couple outstanding and interesting players that the Leafs could look at.
Okay.
So like you said, a player that is not signed right now, they're kind of in a tough spot. Like there has been a lot of activity this summer. Teams have probably come close-ish to what they're going to show us on October on opening night.
Right.
So these guys that I'm going to talk to you about, Editor and Leaf, my reference here. 3 guys that are, veteran players, but they could add some strong depth and they could, help fill some holes for us. Like you said, Josh, I think we're at 44 of 50 possible contracts. That the Leafs have signed so far. And I haven't checked cap wages, which is the new cap friendly. So funny how fast cap wages swooped in. But
cap wages is pretty good, but I still like Puckpedia. That's my go-to right now.
Okay. I just heard on a podcast today that cap wages is trying to be the new cap friendly. And so I drove to them today. And I'm pretty sure that we have $86 million on the contract right now.
I kind of
the Leafs,
had it
that's
up here. We're 86,724, which leaves us with a whopping 1.275 in cap space. Brad, don't spend it all in one place.
Holy moly.
It's not a lot. Not a lot.
We're not going to. We need to create chips to make chips, basically. Like, we need more money to make anything big happen.
It feels like if we can find a way to just shed 10.9 million. 10.9. I don't know if there's anyone who makes that amount.
Is that Marner's exact cap?
Yeah. Just throwing it out there. Yeah. Might help.
So I know we love to hate on Marner, but I was watching Instagram. Like, there's all these. Coach Chippy is collabing with all these different
Coach
media,
Chippy is on fire.
He's on fire. So he was at, I don't know, let's call it Ricoh Coliseum. Coca-Cola Coliseum. He was skating on the ice with like Austin Alexander, who is another Coach Chippy type. Tavares. Mitch. Domi. Somebody else. I'm pretty sure
he actually won a face-off against JT.
Did he?
I don't know if you saw the highlight there. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
all over
I
this
think it was
content.
actually at that event, the Assist Foundation, because I
Oh.
think they had some kind of like celebrity game, maybe, I don't know,
Oh,
the day after the event, because I think it was at the
okay.
place where they had the whole like the whole event, the Assist Foundation.
Okay. It
Yeah.
very well could have been. Anyway, I was watching it and I didn't think that Mitch was a part of this segment. I don't know how I didn't realize Mitch was on the ice. Thought it was just a Coach Chippy kind of skit. And I'm watching
Okay.
these guys play shinny. And there's this one guy in a white sweater and he's just doing like cartwheels around the rest of the guys on the rink. Like he is just running show. And
Yep.
it was Mitch. I just like my
Lock him up, sign him.
lock him up. What an amazing
Yep.
talent. Generational player is what my mind was saying to me while I was watching him play. Not knowing.
So him playing against Coach Chippy inspired you to come full circle on the Mitch Marner. Should he go or should he stay?
Well, Tavares was there too. Domi was there too.
Domi.
There were other NHL players involved in this like Instagram reel skit. But
yeah, it probably was not as competitive as a Game 7 of a playoff series, though, I'm guessing.
That's a great point. I think that he didn't have to worry about his body.
Yeah, he probably had a little bit more ice to operate in.
Very true. Okay. Okay, but if you have an opportunity to watch Mitch play shinny, I definitely recommend it. He was decent.
I mean, the guy has amazing skills. His puck handling is like next level. There's no doubt. There's no doubt.
Okay, that was my bad. That was a huge I digressed far, but
no, you're good.
We're talking
you're good.
About the 3 PTO candidates that the Leafs could consider this offseason. Okay. Now, first one, James Van Riemsdyk.
Oh, I remember him. Yeah. I'm surprised he's not signed yet.
I'm sure there's a lot of Leafs fans that would roll their eyes at this thought, but coming from the Bruins, he played 71 games last season, got 38 points, 11 goals.
It's not bad.
That's not bad. It's not bad. Bottom 6 production. He's a big body. He's got insider tips from the Bruins organization, which is something that I don't think we don't. I don't know. Do we look for that? But like, I think we should also almost be scouting more like the Bruins scout. Like that is what we need in our organization.
Any team, yeah.
Or any
Seems
team.
like any team has done it better. Yeah.
A little insider trading ability there. And like it looks like he'd only be looking for around $1 million to league minimum of $800,000.
That's what they're reporting. Okay. Yeah, like
reporting.
I definitely have an interest. There's obviously that familiarity with the market. He definitely played with Marner, Matthews, Riley, Nylander would have been there during Van Riemsdyk. I think 2017 would have been his final year. So all those guys would have been around. So it could be a fit. I mean, he's obviously, especially at this point in his career, he really is like kind of a net front presence, maybe a power play specialist, probably not a guy you're going to play a lot of minutes 5-on-5. But, I mean, the bottom 6 right now doesn't look that great if you're looking at a Maple Leaf depth chart. So I think he could help, and I think there definitely is a need to kind of find other sources of offense other than the core 4.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm down. I'm down.
He's left wing.
Yep. A need.
Yeah. What's that?
A need for sure, because right now our left side is Matthew Nyes, Bobby McMahon, and who the hell knows behind them.
I think Nylander is Alex, is a left shot. Do you know?
Perfect. There you go. There's your third line left winger.
Well, that's
Alex
what people
Nylander.
are saying.
Oh, they are for sure.
He's a left wing that shoots on the right.
Is he? Okay. So maybe that's why Twitter was going crazy about the signing. They realized that he's coming in opening night.
He shoots right. Sorry.
He's a right shot.
Yeah.
Actually, I should have probably stepped up and said something because I remember seeing some highlights of him the other day. Yeah, he's a right shot.
Well, there is a forum here. Sorry, there was a source here that actually has it wrong, and then I kept looking.
Ooh.
Oh
Boy.
What happened? He is listed as a left shot. Anyway, he is a right shot. There will be no conflict of interest if JVR were to be brought on. I mean, yeah, with Nylander. Okay, so what do we give that grade? Like, do you think we need him? Do you think we've got 1.4 to play with?
1.275, yeah.
Jesus. And
yeah, I
mean,
that might be enough. I mean, obviously for PTO, you don't have to worry about that yet, only if he makes a team and you want to offer him a contract. But I mean, he's definitely one of the better forwards out there. There's really not much in terms of quality.
Well, you just wait. I have 2 more.
Are you going to top JVR? Was JVR just kind of like your appetizer?
No, I think I top JVR. I think.
Okay.
Well, you'll have to be the jury here.
Fair.
So he signed how much is Nick Robertson's cap hit? I'm getting stressed about this 1.2.
Well, he's not currently signed right now. He's an RFA.
Of course.
But
so we're not going to be able to dig up any more salary, really.
Well, Nick Robertson, I think he would have been around like no more than 800K, maybe 775. I can kind of see what he was at before. Yeah, he was at just under 800K.
Yeah.
He was just under 800K.
Jeez. Poor Nick. Like he should not be a leagueman player still, I think. But
well, I mean, if anyone thought he's more than that, they'd probably be making a trade with the Leafs right now. That's kind of my view on that.
Okay.
Right?
That's a good point. So you would rather have
there might be other circumstances. Maybe the Leafs don't want to trade him. But if you have a team that thinks that Nick Robertson is worth even $900K or $1 million, I can't imagine the Leafs are asking for much of a return. Like if you wanted to give a 4th-round pick for Nick Robertson, I think you could probably get him at this point.
Oh, why? Why would the Leafs have to deal in that?
Why do they have to deal him?
Well, why would they want to do that? Wouldn't we, in our best possible scenario, bank him in the Marlies?
Well, he doesn't have a contract with the Leafs right now. So right now they'd have to sign him. They could sign him to a 2-way contract, which he would probably not accept. Like he's already asked for a trade.
I know.
So
but he's restricted. He's a restricted free agent.
Correct. Yeah.
So I guess I'm not fully understanding if a restricted free agent, I don't know, like what he's in this limbo space where he doesn't have a contract, but he's restricted. So
yeah, so he couldn't. I mean, he could obviously sign. I don't know, like AHL probably has their own version of a PTO, so he could obviously go that route. But there's no way Nick Robertson would be entertaining that today. I'm sure he's still kind of trying to figure out between what the Leafs front office is, maybe what kind of conversations they're having about a possible trade. But for right now, I don't think he hasn't accepted a qualifying offer. So at this point, he's probably just waiting it out and seeing if the Leafs can move him. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's asked for a trade already.
Wouldn't it be nice if the Stars reached out olive branch a la Michael and William?
Yeah, just get all the brothers on the same team. Totally.
It's probably enough to fill a team with the brothers that are currently in the NHL.
Okay,
so we've been through. Okay, wait. One last question on JVR. Would you prefer JVR or Nick Robertson?
Good question. I think Nick Robertson, only thing is, and this would kind of obviously add a wrinkle to it. To bring Nick Robertson back, you're going to have to give him a 2-year commitment, most likely. Maybe you can settle on a 1-year if he was interested, but it would cost you more. I don't think Nick Robertson is going to sign a contract with the Maple Leafs for under $1 million.
Yeah.
Whereas JVR, you bring him in on a PTO, I don't think he would be in a position to reject any offer. Whereas Nick Robertson, a younger player, he probably still thinks there's going to be enough of a market interest in him. Yeah. So I think JVR could come cheaper.
Yeah.
And you also know what you're getting with JVR for that value, whereas Nick Robertson, I don't know. I'm just not confident that there's a good future for him here.
Obviously, Nick has a higher ceiling. JVR has a lower ceiling, but I think to your
At this point, yeah.
you know what you're getting. I don't know what Nick Robertson's personality is like off the ice. Do you know?
I don't. I mean, obviously you hear him with the media. I mean, it seems like, I don't think there's been any like concerns with him other than the fact that he obviously has asked for a trade. So I think some media types are wondering like, okay, dude, like you really haven't proven yourself enough yet to
But
be
he
already
really
demanding a trade.
He has not had a lot of opportunity, really.
No, opportunity has not been there. There's no doubt. But I mean, I guess it depends on what you call opportunity. Is opportunity, does that mean he should have already been allowed to play on power play 1? Has he done enough to show he should be playing on a line with Matthews? I don't think so.
I think when he got that contract, like the cards were stacked against him. He had 3 nearly generational talents ahead of him in the
100%. 100%.
That's hard.
But you still have to prove that you can find a role, right? So if he was going to make an impact with the Maple Leafs, it was going to be in a more limited role on the third line, where he probably had to show a little bit more capability defensively to earn the trust of Sheldon Keefe at the time, which he did during some periods of the season, but not over the long run. I mean, obviously he was a healthy scratch for Game 7 in round 1 against Boston. So Leafs clearly soured on him in terms of being a, enough of a contributor or impactful enough. Yeah. But I think we've even talked about it before. Like, I don't doubt that Nick Robertson could be a very decent offensive contributor if he got on a team like San Jose, Anaheim, or Columbus. So I feel that's where the fit is for him. Like, I think that's probably what would work best for both team and player. You put him in a position like that. Perhaps those teams, because they have an opening on one of their top lines, could say, you know what? It's worth giving Nick Robertson a 1-year contract at, let's say, 1.1 mil and see if we can get something out of him.
If he takes that, but to your point, 1.1 maybe he takes. But yeah, so I think personally I would prefer Nick Robertson, but I also am mindful of his future and his runway with the Leafs. And when we have all these huge contracts ahead of him on our forward lines, don't see a lot of, unless there's little Mitch movement. Okay, moving on to the next potential PTO signing for us, Kevin Shattenkirk.
Good name. I think he could help.
Also was with the Boston Bruins last season. So we got some of that IP.
That intel.
Intel from the Bruins.
And he's also a right shot.
That's great recall that you knew that. I did not know that. Well, JVR had 38 points with the Bruins last year. Shattenkirk had 24 points with the Bruins. But, considering he's a bottom pairing defenseman, not too bad.
No, he was actually pretty solid. He's a little bit older.
He is a little bit older. He's been around so long.
He has. Yeah, I want to say he's got to be at least 35, 36 maybe.
Oh, at least.
Yeah. But, I mean, he did perform well last year.
Oh, he's 35. He's not as old as I thought.
Okay. So, I mean, I think based on his play last year, he's not cooked. I mean, you could definitely still probably get one more quality year out of him.
Yeah.
I think that could be a possibility. I don't know if he have an interest in signing here. I guess depending on the opportunity. He's an American-born player. I don't know if moving to Canada is in the cards for him, but
he probably doesn't need that stress in his life right now.
Right, and he doesn't. But he also doesn't have an NHL contract right now, so not sure he's in a position to say no.
But do we need a right-handed shot defenseman right now?
Until we figure out what's going on with Hakanpää, we do. Yeah.
Okay,
Still radio silence there.
Okay, we'll think about him then. We'll move forward, but we'll think about him.
Mm-hmm.
The third option.
I like those two, though. I do.
Not bad, yeah? This is Editor in Leaf. That's my site.
Okay.
Number 3, Blake Wheeler. Obviously a big name. Had a tough season last year. Only played actually, it doesn't say how many games he played, but he was very.
I know he was injured a long time. Yeah,
he
missed a lot of games.
He had 21 points last season despite the injuries, which is solid production given his bottom 6 role. And I think what they're saying here that makes him very attractive is that he would be projected. Puckpedia projects him at about league minimum contract next season, so $800,000.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what I think he signed or what he was on with the Rangers at contract. So I mean, I think any of these guys right now, despite the fact that they have a big name, they are a big name, I should say.
All three. You're saying these guys are big names, right?
The 3 guys are all big
names.
At least at some point in their career, they were. Maybe not so much today, clearly. Yeah. But they obviously have that pedigree and obviously a long-standing track record of performing at the NHL level. I mean, ought to kind of like dump on the Editor in Leaf parade, but it just feels like, I don't know. I don't think a Blake Wheeler is really a fit. Like, not to say he couldn't help out. Yeah. I just don't know if he'd be looking for, I mean, I think if the Leafs were to sign anyone right now, it would be for a third line role, not really in a offensive spot so much. Blake Wheeler, I mean, obviously he might have to face the reality that he's not a 20-minute forward on any team anymore. No. But I think what the Leafs need to be going after is more of that typical bottom 6 forward who plays a good two-way game, either brings some physical attributes, size, a guy who's going to, we'd like a guy who can put the puck in the net too, for sure. But I kind of more want a upgrade over the Yarncroke, the David Camp, the Holmberg, guys who actually can like play a solid two-way game, bring something else that maybe we don't have currently.
Totally agree. I'm just looking into Blake Wheeler right now. He's 37, so he's older than our other 2 options. JVR and Shattenkirk are both 35.
Yeah. And the Editor in Leaf was going to the retirement home for his PTO requests, right? Old guys.
Yeah. I didn't realize he was drafted 5th overall. Not bad, Blake Wheeler. Not bad.
Yeah, he's a very high pick.
Yeah.
So I actually have a couple names too.
Okay.
I did kind of my own research on like 3 or 4 guys I can throw out there.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind seeing, I got 2 D-men.
Okay.
Gustav Lindstrom from Anaheim, right shot D. He's got some size, can play on the PK. He's kind of still a younger guy, just obviously hasn't panned out well, but he played mostly in a bottom pair, maybe mid pair role in Anaheim. Stats weren't great on the guy, which is probably why he's still sitting as a UFA, but I think he could help as a depth add.
Okay.
The other guy I like, Justin Schultz.
Nice.
Also a right shot, played on Seattle last year. Still only 32 years old, but a good puck mover, has a good shot, could probably be an option on power play too.
Okay.
Adds a little bit more offensive flair there.
Well, maybe, he's an unrestricted free agent right now?
Yeah, these guys are both UFAs. Yeah.
Right.
So I like either of those 2 guys on D. I did have James Van Riemsdyk as well. I do like that kind of potential if the fit is good for player and team on a contract.
Yeah.
Other guys I wouldn't mind. Tyler Johnson from Chicago.
Oh, okay.
He played on Tampa Bay when they were making their runs. Yeah, good two-way forward. Can play center, can play wing.
Wow. Wow, I'm
You like
surprised
that one?
that he's
You like that one, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. He's only 34.
Yep.
He's back-to-back cup champ. Like he's with Tampa for those 2 cup runs.
Yep. He was
Not
a very
big,
effective
big
player.
dude. Not a huge dude, but wow, I'm surprised
No.
he's still out there.
Yeah, he's probably like the name out there for me anyways, that I'm like, yeah, I don't get why he's out there still.
Me neither. Wow.
Like-
I think he'd be a great Leaf.
Yeah. I think that
He's a
could be
winner
a
at
good
every
fit.
level. He won the Mem Cup. He won the Calder Cup. He won 2 Stanley Cups. He's
Wow,
young.
well done with like the quick like recon and like full
Yeah.
full bio.
Don't you get those
I
Google
throw a name?
summaries yet? You don't get Google summaries?
No, I mean I wasn't heading that direction, but glad that you were. That's clutch.
They have this simulator now on Yahoo Sports where they'll predict what the production, his production would be for next season.
Oh,
And he's predicted at 39 points.
really?
Yeah.
You don't see too many players sitting as a UFA still who are projected 39 points. Someone should grab
There's
them, man.
There's something up here. Also, he asked for a 2-year deal with a 3.1 cap hit from Chicago.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Last
Yeah, he probably
time-
isn't worth that.
No, that's expensive. You're right.
Yeah.
But he's not close to worth that.
Yeah, you could probably make the case, although clearly no other team has right now. Maybe
exactly.
he's
That's what I keep going back to. It's like, well, like you said with Nylander, like nobody else wanted him, so why is he still out there? Nick Robertson.
No, exactly. Yeah,
winner.
Yeah,
But,
and you're not really the one who's doing it, as much as like a lot of Leaf fans, but like I find there's like so many fans who just always want to believe that the Leafs may have found something that no other team has. Like, no, like don't think that
No, they
Nick
have guys
Robertson.
on it. No, they
What's
do have
that?
guys on it. Yeah. Okay, but no, what? I'm sorry, but Tyler Johnson, this is a bit of an outlier. He played 67 games last season with the Chicago Blackhawks, 14 goals, 25 assists.
Not bad. Wait,
Right?
so the Google simulator is saying he's going to have the exact same season, or were you looking at his last year stats when you said 39?
No, I'm
Because he
looking
had
at
39 last year.
They're predicting the same stats, it looks like.
That's quite the tool they have there.
This is the box that I'm looking at with the date in the
Okay.
top right.
And they're
06,
predicting the
20,
exact
24.
same year.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, you
I
can
will
fact check
not
this
be
afterwards. I haven't
subscribing.
read the full article, but
Okay.
this is the hockey news actually, and they're predicting who will sign him and what his output will be like next year. But I don't know. I feel like there's something fishy going on with the Tyler Johnson situation.
I don't know if he did some stuff or is not a good locker room guy, pissed off the coach. Who knows?
Probably that.
So
But
I
anyway,
like
we
him.
Need we need more of guys that are problems. I think everyone's just
Better problems, yeah.
too chummy in Toronto.
Yeah, you got to get some. You got to get more Ryan Reeves in there.
I know.
Shake things up a little bit.
I loved when we brought on Ryan Reeves. That was exciting. But
Yeah, and I think a lot of fans didn't like what he was doing, especially the beginning of the year when he was seemingly on the ice for every goal that went in our net.
Yeah.
But you kind of take the bad with the good with Ryan Reeves. You're not exactly expecting him to be, a driver of offense. You expect it if he gets caught against the opposing team's top line.
Yeah,
he's probably going to do more to help get the puck into our net than keep it out of our net. But that's kind of what you expect with most 12 forwards, And Revo brings a lot of stuff off the ice too. So
yeah,
I still maintain, I think he was a solid ad.
That's good. I would say the same thing. But yeah, I think we have some options for those guys that we looked at.
Yeah.
But we can only take one with the numbers that we have on our right now with our remaining cap.
For sure. Unless there's some other movement, whether they find a way to move someone like a Callie Yarncroke, a David Camp. Not going to do the I'm not going to go into Mitch Marner again, but
Yeah.
there's different ways that they could obviously find a opening or provide an opening for someone. But right now, they don't have a lot of cap room or much roster spots open. So don't know what's going on with Brad Treliving, what he's thinking or what he's planning on doing, but it's interesting.
It is interesting. It is interesting. And we are into the dog days of the offseason right now. So I don't think people are really expecting a lot of movement in the next couple of weeks. It's kind of when people, analysts, media peeps, scouts take their time off. So we could be in a dormant movement period, but always there's Leafs fodder. There's Leafs stuff to talk about.
Yeah, people are still talking. There's whispers out there. Whispers, Caroline. People are talking.
And you know that when that big Leaf splash happens, if it does, everyone's going to be back from vacation. They're going to be dialing in from Muskoka. There'll be people on their boats calling on podcasts. Like, I can't wait for Friedman to take a podcast call from his wake surf boat. From his Malibu.
Well, he's doing Olympic play-by-play. He was doing like play-by-play. I think it was like either kayaking event.
Really?
He was doing the play-by-play. Yeah.
Imagine he's just a closet, huge, like solo kayak fan.
Maybe. Right?
Kayak. Like he's one phone is all about Leafs transactions. The other is just like individual kayaking.
Yeah, like the whole hockey thing has always been just a facade. He's actually just like a hardcore kayak enthusiast, and he's just been waiting for the opportunity to call play-by-play kayak event.
I could see him big in equestrian. I feel like I could see him like a huge equestrian host.
I thought like an actual like athlete. I'm like, I don't know about that. He doesn't look like a guy who would be able to do it, but sure.
Apparently, NBC had an internal lottery for which reporters would be able to go cover. Is it Tahiti where the surfing is? Tapioto.
Sounds about right for surfing. Tahiti.
One of those two T words. Yeah. It's in Hawaii, so they're not surfing in Paris. Anyway, Colin Jost won the internal lottery. So him and Scojo are not with the NBC crew. They're over covering the surfing. Rest of the NBC Peacock crew is in Paris.
Interesting. Okay.
What would you take?
Internal lottery.
What would you do? What would you, if you could do either?
If I could do like any event?
No, if you were working for NBC, would you go to that internal lottery? I wouldn't. I would want to go to Paris and be there and live.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. Yeah, I think you want to be in Paris for sure. Yeah, but, especially being a part of the opening ceremonies and everything. Yeah, that's where you want to be.
If you're a sports fan, you're among like the sport capital of the world universe for.
Yeah, it's probably a once in a lifetime opportunity to cover an Olympic event for most. So sign me up for that.
Colin Jost and Scarlett Johansson, have been to Paris many times, so the novelty of being there is worn off. I imagine that he has covered Olympics in the past, so maybe the novelty of the Olympics is worn off, and he's coming out of a very busy SNL season, writing season. He just wants to relax.
Right.
So
could very well be.
Yeah, maybe that we need to take that into consideration and wish Mr. and Mrs. Jost well as they.
Absolutely, yeah. Because on the surface, I'm with you. It feels like I don't know if you wanted to sign up for that, but there could be some other circumstances that led to him wanting to enroll in the lottery. Yeah.
Fully agree.
Valid point.
Well, that was my last little hot fact for today.
You've been bringing a lot of heat with these like tidbits and like the Nylander names, and then chatty. On fire, Caroline, on fire.
Thanks. It's amazing what a little TikTok
well done.
Will do.
Yeah, you just got to do a little bit of scrolling or a Google, and it's unbelievable what you can come up with.
Just incredible, the stuff that's out there.
Yeah, a wealth of information.
Just a wealth of information.
Yeah, there's some stuff you probably don't want to find out or don't want to see, but there's some good stuff out there.
So much of that,
a lot.
So for our viewers, anyone on YouTube, we are now uploading our podcast to Spotify. So if you wanted to watch us in your car,
On the way to
just
work. Yeah.
Not watch us, listen on the way to work.
Yeah.
For your aux cord on the boat, whatever you want. We are on Spotify. So just search Leafs Unfiltered and you'll find us there. We're still working on getting up on Apple Podcasts. It is very confusing. If anybody
A lot of hurdles.
If anybody has any experience uploading podcast to Apple Podcasts, please Instagram message me, Caro Toronto. I'll be so grateful. But yeah, that's my little end bit. Josh, you close it off for us.
No, that's great. Yeah, so hopefully we get some additional Leaf news and we can kind of come back with some more exciting topics and kind of just keep going on the off-season debating and talk about, obviously we're going to get closer to training camp. So I think newsworthy episodes are probably on the horizon. So audience, stay with us. This is your show you want to tune into. Again, every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, all through the Sports Fluent channel. So subscribe to us there, and then you can find out when the episode is going live, and you can obviously watch the recording there as well. And shout out to our TikToks as well. So I'm Leafs Talk on TikTok and Caro Toronto. Definitely recommend following.
He's Leafs Talk with a T-O-K.
Good call. We don't want to confuse people. Yeah. Very creative. I did the T-O-K Talk. So that's kind of my channel there. So come follow me. We do some live chats.
Famous. He's very famous on TikTok.
Oh, come on.
Oh.
If you attended one of my live chats, it's more me taking heat from all my Mitch Marner predictions.
That's so funny.
Yeah. People hate me there. They hate me.
So funny. You have an army of Mitch haters. Like you are the number one nemesis. Anyway.
Yeah, everyone just flocks to the live to be like, oh, Mitch Marner hasn't been traded today. So what do you think about that?
That is so funny. That's so
I don't think too much of it because it's like July 30th, July 31st. So I didn't know I had a deadline on that prediction that ended in July.
Yeah, shouldn't you guys be getting ready for Frosh Week? Like they're
pretty much, yeah. That's exactly the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it exam? No, maybe not exam time. I guess the school's out for the summer, as they say, but like maybe you should be doing some prep for the new year.
Summer school. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. Well, appreciate everyone who did join, and definitely don't be shy. Drop us a comment if there's anything you'd like to see or any feedback you have. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
So until next week, we will definitely chat to you then. Caroline, enjoy more Olympic coverage. Let's get some more golds for Canada.
Go Canada, go. Hope we hit that 6 golds.
Yes.
Hope we hit our over.
Hopefully. You got it. Good luck to us.
Talk to you next Wednesday.
You got it. Have a good one, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Take care.